So we're starting strong here with one of our waifus, the junior at Goombella. She's the only light-skinned Goomba in the entire franchise. The only light-skinned Goomba that I've ever seen. I think that gives her a couple more points on the appearance side. I'm not racist, I swear. If you click off this video because of that, well, it was well deserved. Let's look at her fit a little bit. She has that green like archaeologist hat going on, and the rest of her fit is pretty cute. Only thing I'm gonna say is I don't really like her eyebrows like that. They're a little thick, so I'm gonna have to subtract 1 point because of that. A 9 on the appearance. A 9 out of 10. She is super cute and I love her. Let's keep it a buck. Goombella's abilities are absolutely top tier. Goombella is 2 Marios. She can head bonk the enemy 2 times, just like Mario can jump on the enemy 2 times. And when you level her up, she comes with a multi-bonk, which is just your power bounce badge. And then her rally wink, super OP, giving Mario the ability to use an ability twice. I don't use rally wink that much, but I can see how that's really helpful for some people. Just her ability to give you information throughout the game. Now they have that, you can press ZL or whatever, but back in the day when we were struggling and we have no internet to look up everything that we had to do, Goombella was goated. I was pressing X in every single area. Her Goombabilities are top tier, so she gets a 10 out of 10 on abilities. Goombella is really sassy. Some of the sassiest dialogue, I kind of pair her with the Yoshi in this sense. They're both just really sassy characters. And even how she narrates things, like how she narrates the enemies that she finds in her catalog. Goombella is the person that talks the most in the game. So I'm gonna give her a 10 in the dialogue. You know what? I'm gonna say an S, it's a 29 to 30. Because this is 29 points, so I'm gonna put Goombella in the S category. Just looks-wise, personality-wise, skills-wise, she is really just top tier. Next, we have Koops. Koops, my man, the hero of Petalburg, future mayor of Petalburg. If I want to compare Koops to other Koopas, he doesn't really have anything that special going on for him. He has a light blue jacket on, some shorts. I want to say he's wearing Timberlands. I mean, don't quote me on that. His band-aid on his nose or whatever, I mean, that's cool, but his appearance ain't really nothing to write home about in terms of the other Koopas. And with that being said, I'm gonna give him a 5 because I just think he's average in the looks department. The first character that can hit all ground enemies, and as you get more party members, his move, the Shell Slam, which is his final move that attacks all the ground enemies, costs the least. His Shell Shield is also really OP. In my final boss battle with the Shadow Queen, I would use the Shell Shield pretty often. I use it pretty often in Bonetail's fight too. I'm gonna give him a 10. I think Koops is pretty fire. This is where Koops is lacking. He's so timid throughout the entire game. He's super weak in the beginning and he wants to become stronger. He gets so much stronger over time. But the real thing is his wishy-washiness. Every time he sees Miss Mowz, he's like, wow, she's super cute. You're lucky, Mario. I'm like, boy, don't you have a whole girlfriend at home? You got a whole Koopa at home waiting for you. Dialogue-wise, his dialogue is pretty weak. I'm gonna give him a 3. That puts Koops at an 18. He just made the B tier. Koops goes in the B tier. Flurrie. Da-na-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na-na. Girl, she got the big lips, you know, the lipstick. She got the gold necklace. She got the bracelets. But all in all, she got the bazongas, you know what I'm saying? But even so, her appearance isn't, she's definitely the most unique character I've ever seen in the entire Paper Mario series. And I've never seen a wind spirit occur ever again. So that is really what makes her very unique here. Even though her appearance is very unique, I'm not too much a big fan of her design. I'll put her at an 8. You know what? I'll bump it up to a 9. If Goombella got a 9, Flurrie should get a 9 too. And she's plus size, so you know I love that. My girl Flurrie is struggling. She is struggling in the abilities. Her body slam, why would you even use it? You've got Goombella that can do 2 head bonks, and then you've got Koops that can attack the ground enemies. The lip lock move, I don't use that, but the Gale Force. The Gale Force is the move that comes in clutch. You can blow away enemies that you never thought you could blow away. If only one of your abilities hit, but then the rest of your abilities suck, do you deserve a high score? I think I'm gonna give her a 6. Flurrie is struggling way more than Koops here. Her dialogue is always really, really weak. You can't really tell like what Flurrie's values are or what her personality really is. Like with Koops, you can tell that he's timid, hesitant on things. You can tell that Goombella is sassy. I'm not gonna lie, I think that she is the character that I enjoy having out the least. I guess you can tell she's a drama queen, so I can give her a 2. I'm contemplating giving her a 1. I'm gonna give her a 1. So we're gonna put her in the C tier. Yoshi. Appearance wise, I'm sorry, but that is just a basic baby Yoshi. And the fact that you have to go out of your way to try to make the color timing, the only color schemes that I really like are kind of the black and red one, and I guess the red one. But otherwise, Yoshi is kind of struggling on the appearance. We're gonna give him a 3. Sorry, Yoshi. Once you level up your Yoshi and they start doing more damage, they kind of have like, you know, a partial power bounce. Like they do the power bounce maybe up to the excellent level and then they stop. That's less damage than having Goombella do 2 head bonks. The gulp ability can really get you out of some tough situations. So that's kind of like the gold mine of the attack here. Similar to Flurrie's Gale Force, it comes in clutch when it needs to, but in the majority of the game, you're probably not going to be using gulp unless you go out of your way to use it just because you love the Yoshi character. Mini egg, I never use that. I just did an entire playthrough of Paper Mario, which you can click up here to watch, but I never once used mini egg in that entire playthrough. When you use Stampede to attack all the ground enemies, why not just use Koops's like shell slam? I'm gonna give him a 6 on that. Dialogue though, this is where the Yoshi excels. They're super fiery. He is ready to throw hands with anybody. He doesn't care if you're a baby. He doesn't care if you're somebody's grandma. He's gonna throw hands with, and that energy is kept throughout the series the entire time. The Yoshi Dialogue is definitely a 10. He has a 19 and that puts him in the B territory. Vivian. I could argue that she's best girl. She's really cute. We already got a dig that she had on them white gloves that kind of like Mario's. You know, she's twinning with him on that. She's got the long pink hair, which is beautiful. Similar to Flurrie, I've never seen a creature like Vivian ever in the Paper Mario series. Even Goombella says it. I think she might even be cuter than me. She said something like that. I don't know if it was word by word. I think she is cuter, and so I'm going to give her a 10 on the appearance. Vivian's fiery punch is cool, like her shade fist. It doesn't put anybody else to shame, really. It's kind of like Flurrie's body slam in that it just does that static amount of damage. The fact that it puts enemies on fire is really cool. You know, you can get an extra couple points of damage here and there. So it's cool, and if you like Vivian, you know, you can have her out. But it's nothing to really write home about. Her veil, I barely ever use her veil. I could see how it's helpful, but me personally, I didn't really use it very much. But it's only 1 FP, so it's a pretty average move. Like, how can you complain about that? Her Infatuate, I never use that. Just trash move. They could have gave her something else. Now we've got the Fiery Jinx. AoE attack, it attacks everybody on the board. Some enemies are resistant to fire damage, so I guess that's kind of where it lacks. Does it do as much damage as using Bobbery's Bombast? No. I use her more in battle than I use Flurrie and Yoshi. And so I'm going to give her an 8, but she's not amazing in terms of abilities like Koops or Goombella. I think Vivian suffers from Flurrie syndrome. You can't really tell much about her personality other than the fact that she's sweet and cute. She had a lot of good dialogue in the game when you first meet her. Like, you can obviously tell the dynamic between her and her sister, and you can tell that she struggles with her sisters. But when you equip her in your party, I think that her dialogue is really rough. Slightly better than Flurrie because I think that her introduction was really cool. I'm going to give her a 2 on the dialogue. Now, you might disagree, but that's just how I feel. I don't really take Vivian out for my in-game dialogue events. Vivian has a 20. That puts her in the B tier. It looks like there's a lot of people here that are struggling. Bobbery. Snap it up for Bobbery. That is my Black representation. For that alone, I should give him 10s across the board. Let me stop. I told y'all, I'm not racist. Bobbery's design is very unique. He's got that pirate wheel thing. What is it called? The ship steering wheel on his back. In terms of other bombs, he is firstly bigger, but also his skin tone. I've never seen a skin tone like that on any bomb. Honestly, I really do love his appearance. And then his big flashy mustache. He's fire. So I'm going to give him a 10 on appearance for sure. I really like Bobbery's main move because when I'm fighting hard enemies like Claps or anything that has a spike on its head or whatever, Bobbery really does come in clutch. And he flips over the Claps too when he explodes on them. So when you're fighting enemies like that, it really does come in clutch there. Bomb Squad, when you throw the bombs and then they explode after like a turn or whatever. I personally haven't used that move very much in my playthroughs. I could see how it's helpful, but I don't use it very much. And I think that the delay of the turn just makes me not really want to use it that much, but I can see how it's helpful. Hold fast. There have been times where I put Bobbery in front of me and then just use hold fast so he could kind of just tank everything. And I think that that is a really cool addition to his skill set. I don't use the ability very much, but Bombast. I absolutely loved Bombast. When I was just going through enemies, especially in the pit, I was like, I don't really feel like fighting right now. I would just take up a Bombast, kill everybody on the screen, and just keep it going. And things like boss battles and such, like maybe not so much. I think that he has a pretty good kit. And Flurrie is a 6. He gotta be at least an 8 or 9. I'm gonna give him an 8. I really like Bobbery's dialogue. You can, he has that sailor's tone to him, like that sailor's theme when he talks. He'll be like, oh boy. He consistently shows that he is this gruff side character. And his backstory with Podley, which if you like Podley, go ahead and click off this video because we don't talk about him here. That backstory was just absolutely so lovely. Like it was one of the strongest backstories for any of the characters here. He does come into the party really late in the game, and for that I'm going to give him an 8. Bobbery, wow, he has a 26. Bobbery has made it to the A tier. And now Miss Mowz. Miss Mowz starts with a 1 in this because she benefits from white privilege, so we're gonna give her a 1 just to start out. She has a +1 on whatever score she gets. I'm just playing, y'all. Once again, I told you I'm not racist. I swear I'm not. If we think about other mice, she's white. She's a white colored one. Her mask is pretty cool and she has long red heels. There's not much to write home about her appearance. I'm gonna give her like a 5. Like she's more unique than the Yoshi. And kind of like Koops, like she just looks pretty generic. Other than stealing items, Miss Mowz is almost absolutely useless. Yes, she has a move that pierces defense. Only time that I used Miss Mowz in battles was when I was in the Palace of Shadow and you had those chain chomps that had super high defense. I think their defense was like 5 or something. To the point where I was using Goombella and she was doing less damage. So I took out Miss Mowz and she fought those chain chomps. And that was the only time in the game that I ever used her unless I was stealing a badge or an item. I'm giving her a 2. Miss Mowz was a super flirty character who flirted with Mario every single turn. That was just so unique and I think is a really good example of something that Nintendo doesn't really do with their games anymore. Miss Mowz laid it hard on Mario every single time and you gotta respect her for that. After she joins your party, her dialogue options kind of slow down from being like flirty to just being like generic, but I have to give her props for the mood that she put me in while I was playing the game. I think I'm gonna give her a 6. And with that, she has a 13 and she gets put in the C tier. I thought that she was going to be in the D tier, honestly.